Hey folks, Copper Thumb here. In today's incredible tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this amazing tic-tac-toe set. Look how beautiful this is. And it comes with this awesome travel case, so you can shake it around, throw it in your bag. This will make a perfect gift for someone, or just something to have in your bag if you ever want to play a quick game. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive right into the tutorial. Okay folks, let's start as we always do by saying hello to our old friend, the default cube, clicking on him, hitting X, and deleting our old friend, the default cube. And then as we usually do, let's hit Shift A to bring up the add menu, and then we're going to add in a different cube. But the reason we're doing this is so we can get this little drop down menu, and we're going to reduce this size to 15 centimeters because I want my tic-tac-toe box to be about 15 centimeters wide. So once we do that, it shrinks right down. Now, what I'm going to do is hit Tab to go into edit mode. And in this little menu up here, mesh edit mode, I'm going to turn on edge length so I can see all of my different edges there. And then I'm going to scale this on the Z till it's about, I don't know, maybe like 1 centimeter, around 1 centimeter. There we go. That'll work. Around 1 centimeter. Perfect. Because this is going to be basically the bottom tray of our tic-tac-toe board. Now, next what I'm going to do is I am going to add in a couple of loop cuts. So I'm going to add in 2 there. And I can do that by hitting Control R and then scrolling on the mouse wheel. So you can see here, I can scroll as many as I want, but I only need 2. And that way I now have basically my tic-tac-toe board laid out. Now, if I go into face select mode and I grab all of these faces, I can hit I to inset. Now, if I try and scroll, you'll see that it insets them all as one face. But if I hit I again, then it insets individual faces, which is exactly what we want. So I'm just going to scroll this out to about here, just so I have a little bit of a gap between them, about that. That looks great, just so there's a little gap on the edge and a little gap between each of these. Perfect. And then what we can do is we can extrude these on the Z-axis and just move them down to about, I don't know, let's say about there. So, and if you want to look exactly, you can hit 1 to go into side view and then go into this view here. This is our wireframe view. And here I can see I can grab them down a little bit more as well. So like that. Wonderful. And then I can go back into solid shading mode. Wonderful. And that is the basics of our bottom tray. Okay, now let's make the lid. Okay, so before we make our lid, we need to make a lip on the top of this tray for the lid to be able to slide into. I want to just create it so there's a nice friction lid that can, slide in from the side. If you've seen my deck box tutorial, a very similar method to that. And by building that lip, we're also going to be partly building the lid as well. So 2 birds, 1 stone, as they say. So let's start by doing that. If you go 3 into face select mode and then hit Alt and grab this edge, it's going to grab all the way around our model. Now, what I want to do is just add a little extra width to this. So I'm going to hit E to extrude, S to scale, and you'll see if I scale this, it's going to also scale up on the Z-axis a little bit. Like if I come over here, you'll see that it's getting a little bit wider as well, and we don't want that. So what we can do is we can hit extrude, scale, and then hit Shift Z, and then it will extrude on every axis except the one you've shifted, essentially. So it won't extrude on the Z axis. And then I'm just going to bring this out just a teeny bit like so. Wonderful. And now to create our lip, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these faces around this edge. This one, 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 and this one. There you go, all those faces. And now I'm going to extrude just up a teeny bit, like so. And then I'm going to extrude up a teeny bit more, like that. Wonderful. Now, this is essentially, creating the lip that our lid is going to slide into, but we're going to have to curve over the top here so it can't just pop off the top there. So to do that, I'm going to go into 2 into edge select mode, grab this edge, and then holding Control, I'm just going to work my way around the edge here. If I hit Control, it will essentially follow the shortest path to whichever line I click on. And I'm going to grab all of those edges. You see that? Great. Now all I have to do is scale those, not on the Z again, and just bring them in just a little bit. Doesn't have to be much, just like so. Great. Now with this overhang, it means that it will, we can 3D print this, and the overhang isn't so much that it can't print well, and it also creates a lip for our lid to slide in. Wonderful. Okay, next part is creating that lid, and we can do that really, really easily using what we've just done right now. In 3D printing, we are always trying to find ways to work smarter, not harder, and if we can remove any double work in anything we're doing, then we would love to do that. So what we're going to do is take the lip that we just made and use that to make our lid really easily. So if I'm in face select mode and I grab this face, this one, this one, this one, we're basically going to grab all of these inside faces here, just going around, and they're all the ones from what we just built. Boom, 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 boom. And then these two here, if you've done my deck box tutorial, this will be very familiar to you. Now we can hit Shift D and we can just bring that up. And there we have almost the makings of our lid. What I'm going to do is hit P to separate by selection, which is going to turn this into a new model. So this one, if I click off here, there we go. We can call this one the tray, and we can call this one the lid. Good to get into practice of labeling your models and your meshes, because as you do more and more, it will become very complicated and you can get them lost. But I'll tell you that a lot of artists don't do that, myself included a lot of the time. Okay, so what I want you to do now is grab in edge select mode, hitting 2, grab this edge, and then go all the way across, grab this edge, and hit F to create a face. Great. Now hold Alt and hit that top edge, and it's going to grab every edge along the top there, and then hit F to create a face, which is going to fill it in. Don't worry that it's a weird shape, doesn't matter for this project. And then on the bottom one, hit there and hit F to create a face on the bottom. And then the last thing we need to do is to scale this to 0.99, just to make sure that it has a little bit of wiggle room to slide into the tray base. And then we can grab that and just bring that down, and that's literally going to sit right in there. And then we have our lid and our box. Sorry, let me just grab that a little bit. There we go. Cool. And we have the lid and the box. So yeah, that lid will slide in like so. Isn't that cool? Awesome. Now let's make our tic-tac-toe pieces, our noughts and crosses if you're from the UK. All right, let's start by making the 0 or the circle or the nought or whatever you want to call it, because that is the easiest. And as you can imagine, we're going to start by going to Shift A and then adding in a cylinder. Nice. I am going to increase the amount of vertices to 64 just to make it a little bit smoother. And then I am going to scale this down. Whoop, 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 whoop. S to scale. And I'm going to scale it until it fits right in one of the sections. Now go in overhead view mode there and just make sure that that is, you know, kind of snug, not too snug. Doesn't want to be tight so we can't get it out. Perfect. And then let's scale that on the Z axis. Scale on the Z. Wonderful. Can have a look in there, and we basically just want to make sure that it is fitting nicely in there. You can go into X-ray mode. You know, you can always use X-ray mode to see how things are lining up. If I go into hit 1 to go in the side view mode, you can see there it's beneath the line of the tray. Wonderful. And have that sit there. That's perfect. Looking good. Okay. So now I can hit / to go into isolation mode, just so I'm looking at this one piece. And all I have to do is go into edit mode, 3, face select mode. Let's grab those two faces, and then let's inset like we did before, and bring this in to, say, around there. Now I'm going to hit X, delete those faces, and now we have this gap in our circle. Now, in edge select mode, I'm going to hit this edge and this edge. Just make sure that they are parallel on top of each other like so. And then hit F to create a face. Now go 2 to edge select mode and then grab one of these edges. And then through the magic of computing, if I hit F, it's going to create a face where it finds a natural place to do so. So if I hold F, it's just going to make faces all the way around. Boom. And there we have it. The knot is done. Wonderful. Okay. I'm going to grab that on the y-axis, just move this across out of the way. And now let's make our cross. Okay. Is one a tick and one a tack? I don't actually know the American names for them, but I'm making either the tick or the tack, or maybe it's the toe. Who knows? Well, I'm going to make the cross. That's what I know it as. So let's do that right now. So easy to do. I'm going to hit Shift A, Mesh, bring in a cube. Same vibe. Let's bring this right down, and we want our cube to basically just be sat within those confines. Wonderful. And then again, scale it on the Z axis. And then I am going to cheat a little bit here. I'm going to hide the tray, go into a side view, and I'm going to move it. I'm going to move this just so it's the same. I'm going to eyeball it basically and make it the same thickness as the knot. Boop. Looking good there. Yeah. Pretty good, pretty good. There we go. Boop. That's looking good to me. You can eyeball it. You could also measure it with the edge length tool that we have on here, you know. But there you go. So once I have that cube, what we can do now is Control R, add a loop cut here. Control R, add a loop cut here. Then I need to, in object mode, Control A, and apply the rotation and scale. That's important because I need some exact measurements here, because I'm going to add another loop cut, but I'm going to bring it to the side till it's about let's say around 0.5, like that. Great. And then do the same on the other side. It's about 0.5. Great. And then another one down here until 0.5. It's the middle one. If you can see what I'm looking at here, you can see it going up and down. Great. And then the same here. Now you can play around with this. You can make it a little bit wider, a little bit shorter, but essentially we want this pattern, which is looking pretty cool. And the reason being is if I go into edge select mode, we're going to grab these edges. We're going to grab these edges, and these edges. Very cool. And now, we've done this before, but I'm going to hit Scale, not on the Z, and we're going to bring these in, and you're going to see it transform into an X. How cool is that? Now, if I go into overhead mode, and then we have our X done. Now, if I bring the tray back in, we have it. And now all we have to do is print each of these individual pieces, and we have our tic-tac-toe travel board with a slide lock lid, all good to go. That's awesome. Okay, let's fire all these pieces off on the printer and see how this thing turned out. And there you have it, folks. This thing is looking incredible. I love how striking these pieces turned out. Look at this. Ooh, they look amazing. The game is incredible. It all fits together beautifully. I mean, it just looks nice as a coffee table piece, if anything else. So yeah, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. And if you want to take it a step further and put something on the front of this case, you can check out my other tutorials where I can show you how to do just that. So yeah, I've been Copper Thumb. You've been awesome. I'll see you in the next one.